Right, OK, now the new Premier League figures show that £67 million are spent on agents' fees over the past year. Chelsea and Liverpool top the list, each spending over £9 million. Delighted to say football agent Sky Andrew joins us. So down on agents' fees over the past year. You're feeling the pinch, Sky?
What it says is that there are still a small group of agents earning a hell of a lot of money. There's over 350 agents licensed in this country, and the facts are is that only a small group of agents actually make a very good living. The vast amount of agents are scratching around, really.
So let's, if we have a look at the sort of top earners in here, Chelsea and Liverpool. Surprising, Liverpool, considering their business in the transfer market, and Chelsea too were a little quiet. Manchester City in third, 4 million or so, 3 million or so behind. How come Manchester City's fees are low when they spent the most? How does that work?
Well, I think it's horses for courses. It depends what type of players you're bringing in. It depends on how much each player is being paid. But I would say that the people that are making the big money are the brokers. So it depends what sort of situation a club are in. If there's a player that a club really desperately wants, and an agent who's brokering a deal can bring that player to the club, then often an agent can not dictate, but say, you know, this is what I'd like to earn from this deal. But the public have got to realise that the brokers are the guys who make the real money here. Not necessarily the guys that are representing a player or a club. The brokers, where there's money involved in the deal, can often not dictate, but say, this is what we'd like to take out of this deal. And the brokers are often the people that cause the problems, because everyone's happy with if an agent's represented a player for a long time, or if an agent is legitimately representing a club. But the middle guys, the guys that are just earning this money for not very much work, I don't think that sits comfortably with no one.
So if you have player X is your client, could a broker, without contacting you or contacting player X, go to a club and say, would you like to buy him? I can set up the deal. Then what happens, and where do they pick up their money?
A broker can do it two ways. A broker can actually set up the deal without speaking to the player's agent. And then once the deal's in place, if the player wants to go, there isn't much the agent can do about it. But you see, in a situation where an agent is representing a player legitimately or representing a club, there aren't that vast amounts of money to be earned. But if there's a transfer going to happen, or it's about to happen, or a broker makes it happen, then the amount of money in the pot, that's where these guys can just go in, make a few phone calls and take the money. If you represent a player over a long period of time, and your fees are being paid over the length of the player's contract, no one's got a problem with that. It's just that these figures represent a small group of agents and brokers that are making a very big living. But like all business, life's a pyramid. There are a small group of people earning money, and most people are not.
Chelsea, while they weren't particularly active in bringing new players in, they brought Ramirez in over this period of time. It was a big money deal. Benayoun as well. Most of these were renegotiations of contracts. There the agent gets it. There you get your money. Yes. And for Chelsea, that means, in effect, somewhere slightly below 9.2 million.
Yeah. From a fan's point of view, the fans want to see good signings. The fans want to see players staying at their clubs. So agents play a legitimate role. If an agent plays a role in getting a player to renegotiate his contract and stay at the club, I think everybody's going to be happy with that. The best players, you know, like your Lampards and your Ferdinands and your Beckhams or whatever, these guys do renegotiations, and it's only fair that the actual agent involved is remunerated.
But I'm struggling, Sky, to see your argument here, because with
all you want.
Yeah, I was in maths set 6, so give me time. Chelsea, 9.293 million, yes. Right? Benayoun and Ramirez, their marquee buyings during that period of time. The rest is on renegotiation, so no brokers involved. Right. Yet they still spent the most. So I'm thinking there that it is the agents who are getting the money, not the brokers, as you were arguing.
Okay, yes. In transfers, brokers play a very big part. In renegotiations, it depends on how big the salaries are. And if you're dealing with clubs that pay top-end salaries, then of course a percentage of those salaries are going to be pretty big figures. But like all business, if you headline on the top figures and you don't go underneath the skin of it, it's going to look big. These figures do look like big figures. But when you're talking about your Chelseas and your Man Cities, these are big clubs with some of the best players in world football, and they're earning the best salaries.
Okay. So, do I take it that not many agents...
Are you still struggling?
No, I'm keeping up. Good. Do you take it that not many agents then make the trip up to Blackpool? £45,000, 0.5%. Not 5%, not 50%, 0.5% of what Chelsea spent.
The good thing about football is that you don't necessarily get the best players just because you pay the most. People might think you get the best players, but how are they going to perform? So everyone's got a chance in that they can scout and they can find good young talent. And that's what's great about football. So Blackpool are working in a different way to other clubs. They're trying to find bargains, they're trying to find free transfers, and so they've always got a chance.
Do you concur with the view of Oliver Kay in the Times today, who says, even if the figures may not reflect this, at first glance, the golden age for agents has come and gone?
I think the golden age for agents had come and gone a few years ago, to be fair. It wasn't so long ago where agents were actually brokering transfers, which meant that an agent could go to a club and say, how much do you want for this player? Then go to another club and say, I'll give you this, and keep the difference. So that's gone. Rules and regulations are being put in place, and it's getting tighter and tighter, the rules and regulations. So it is getting harder for agents to perform within the market. And I think that FIFA are looking at it, and there are going to be even more rules and regulations put in place. So it is getting harder for agents to act within the market. But what I don't understand as an agent is if top players, they've got good profile and they earn good money. So David Beckham is someone who I respect highly. He's someone that took control of his career, got a manager, got people looking after him. And I think any top player can do that, can have an office where you've got a manager, a brand manager, a charity person, and take control of your own career. I can't understand why a top player would be with an agent that's got 500 players, for instance. Surely these guys just need to take control of their own careers, hire people to look after them, and then you'd see agents' fees drop.
How much sympathy do you have for the football fan who scrimps and saves to go to a game and then sees his team, his club, spend £9.293 million on agents' fees?
Again, that's a headline.
It's a good headline, though. It's a true headline.
It's a true headline, and what it is it's tinged with irony, and it's a bit of a paradox, because the fans want the best players, and the fans want to be excited by speculation. So, in order for the fans to get the best players in the current circumstances, agents play a legitimate role in bringing top players to a football club. So we could say...
You just said that they could get their manager to do it, and they could pay that out of their own pocket, couldn't they? Which is what Beckham did.
Right, yeah. So I'm saying at the moment as it stands, that's what happens with agents. But what I'm proposing or saying is that I don't understand why top players don't get personal managers. But as it stands, there are agents involved. So if a fan wants a top player, the fact is that an agent's going to play a role in bringing that player to the club. And that's the lifeblood of football, is the fans and what they want. Most fans want the best players at their football club.
But most fans will want the £9.293 million spent on a player, not on an agent, not on a broker who, by your own admission, doesn't really do much.
Right, but if you break those figures down, right, it's not over one player, it's over several players. And at the end of the day, football is a business that brings in billions of pounds. And so why shouldn't, the footballers benefit from that? And then if they have representatives, it's only right that they receive a small percentage.
Okay, I've caught up now. Sky, thank you very much for coming in.
Brilliant
as always. Cheers.
Still to come, we'll take a closer look at Spain and Portugal.